So the listeners obviously won't be able to see this, but Noah's sitting in this room. What is that? What is that coyote in the room?
Oh, right. Yeah, so I'm in this like a kind of not abandoned, but like a building that like people just throw their shit in because they have nowhere else to throw it. And it's a taxidermized. That's the word. Yeah, taxidermized coyote. Her name's Carol. She has a name, so don't call her a coyote or it. It's a little bit offensive, you know. I think she's missing an eye, and I swear to God, she's staring right at me right now. And she kind of just follows you around the room. It's creepy as fuck. It was a real coyote at one point, though. That's a real thing. That's right behind me.
So who commissioned this coyote to be taxidermized?
I'm working at like a camp and retreat center right now. I've kind of been working here like for 6 years, at least like during the summers, you know. It's been here longer than I have. It's like probably the oldest resident here at Camp Stevens. It's just, I don't know if it has an origin or if it kind of just appeared. For a while, like it was like a prank where like you just hide it in people's like closets or cars.
Naturally.
Of course, like what else are you going to do with a taxidermy coyote? That's what you do with it. That's the only thing to do with it.
That's what the coyote would have wanted.
No, you son of a bitch. That's what Carol would have wanted.
Carol?
Fucker. Insensitive. Jesus.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Drinking Buddies podcast. This is episode 43. I am Eric. Who are you?
I am Noah. We have names.
Yeah. We have a fun episode for you today. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and give us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. The YouTube page, it's back. It's fully back.
Hell yeah, it is.
Every episode, 1 through 42 presently, is on the YouTube page. You can sort them in a bunch of different ways. So check that out and subscribe because
you can watch the evolution of the pod, you know? Back when we used to have, like, the artists you didn't know about or whatever we called it.
Yeah, I'm 95% sure they all work correctly. Not 100% sure that all the videos...
Good enough for me.
Yeah. There was only one when I went through the first time that, like, for some reason didn't have sound. But then I just re-uploaded that one. So I think it's all good now. But yeah, check that out. Subscribe so other people can find it. When you search Drinking Buddies podcast, it won't show up because that stupid movie of the same name has all the clips.
Shit.
And then there's some podcast called Drinking Bros podcast, and they don't have that. There's only like, it's basically a dead channel. I think they only have like a few videos. But they
also are like super lame on Twitter.
No, it's not that one. It's a different one.
Oh, it's a different one?
Yeah, it's a different one entirely from that one.
Well, I really thought we were creative with our name, but
we weren't.
A lot of people have used this.
But the problem is, even though they like only have 2 episodes or whatever, is they have 5 subscribers to our current 1.
And
fuck. So they show up before us. So please.
Who's that subscriber?
It's me.
I should probably subscribe, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Definitely subscribe and check that out. That's where all the episodes will be, because I know it's a frustrating. It's a problem because we are not willing to pay to have all our episodes hosted on iTunes and stuff. So
I'm still mad that they force people to pay.
Yeah. It's a little workaround.
Keeping the like. It doesn't let like the up and coming podcasts really make a name for themselves.
Right.
You know, that's what's holding us back from making money.
That's what it is.
That's the sole reason we're not famous.
Thought we'd be famous months ago.
Yeah.
All right. So this episode is a deep dive into the film, the classic cinema of Step Brothers. This we talked about it in an episode no one ever heard. That was the Will Ferrell episode that became the Noah Solo episode.
Are you talking about the greatest episode we've ever had?
Yeah, the episode of you grunting and stuff for 10 minutes. By the way, what are you drinking this week?
Oh, that's a good question. I am drinking Kona Brewing Company, Big Wave. It's a golden ale. It's not Coors Light. So that's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking?
Drinking Mirror Pond Pale Ale from Deschutes in Bend, Oregon. It's good. It's good. It's a classic Oregon beer.
Oh, yes, it is. I've actually been in that brewery before, I think.
Really? Yeah, I'd like to go. It seems cool. All right, so we're going to do a few different things. We both rewatched it in preparation for this episode because it's the kind of research, the kind of extra hours you guys don't see we put in behind the scenes.
It's what separates the common folk from the artists, you know?
So I watched it and I just wrote down a bunch of notes and quotes. And so I think we're going to start off, I'm going to go through them. And then with the quotes, you're going to have to name what part of the movie that was. Okay. And it is cheating a little bit because I wrote them down as I watched the movie, so they're in the order.
You could probably just read them out of order.
That's true. I could do that. Okay, well, the first thing I wanted to talk about actually was not a quote, but I felt personally attacked by a few things in the movie, mainly in the beginning. Like, the opening scene is them, like, making microwave nachos, and then there's that John C. Reilly joke about how he manages a fantasy baseball team. And I feel like those are all, like, things that apply to my lifestyle. And
do you feel yourself slowly becoming John C. Reilly in Step Brothers?
I mean, I feel like this isn't just me. Like, I feel like...
No, you're right. I was watching it with a housemate, and when they mentioned, like, the fantasy baseball team and how big of a part of his life it is, she made fun of me for that, I think, because I talk about fantasy football nonstop. Yeah,
so I just wanted to say that kind of hit to the core a little more than the previous times I've watched it.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad, but we are who we are, you know? We shouldn't be ashamed of that.
All right, so let's get into these. As soon as she is of age, I'm putting her in a home.
Oh jeez. I just watched this, so this is a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
This is when, oh fuck. Okay, I spoke too soon. Will Ferrell's mad at his mom, so that's why he says it, and that's all the context you need for that quote. That's actually one of my favorite quotes from the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's hysterical.
All right, this next one is a quote that I completely forgot about until I rewatched it, so it got me, you know, by surprise, because most of them I knew were coming and stuff. I traveled 500 miles to give you my seed.
Yeah, that was when he was fantasizing about him, like, winning over his therapist, Will Ferrell's therapist.
Yeah.
And he's like a lumberjackman. Just honestly, like, rewatching the movie is such a ridiculous movie.
Yeah. But it's so perfect in the same way.
What was that?
It's just so perfect in that same way.
Oh, it's so perfect. I remember watching, like, I've read, like, the Ringer's oral history of it, and it's like most of the movie's just a bunch of, like, single scenes that really just, like, don't matter what order it's in. It's just, like, funny scenes that really are just there to be funny.
It was almost filmed as, like, a sketch show. Like, they just did improv sketches, and then they threw it together.
A lot of the movie was improv.
Yeah.
Really just Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. Even they got, like, the non-lead parts to, like, improv it.
Right.
Like, the whole One of my favorite parts of the movie was the dinosaur part, where
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that, but you go for it.
where John C. Reilly's dad talks about how he gave up his dream of being a dinosaur, and he just improv that entire thing in two takes, and that's one of the best parts of the movie. It's
Didn't the director promise him it wouldn't be in the movie because he was like embarrassed by it?
Yeah, and then he still put it in.
All right. All right. This line is a little ambiguous, but you might still get it since you just watched it. What the fucking fuck?
Oh God, I'm not gonna get that.
There's one. It's Will Ferrell's mom on the lawn when they're fighting, but it's so great because it's her. Like, you know, she's like this sweet, innocent lady.
Yeah.
And she's just screaming at him. That was a great part.
She's a good actress. You know she's married to Ted Danson?
Yes, I knew that because of Heard, I think. Alright, this one's like one of the most famous lines in the movie, but I still wrote it down. Cops doesn't start until 4.
Yeah, it's right after Will Ferrell bangs on the drum set.
Yeah, he was all sweaty, and he was like, "Why are you sweaty?" And Will Ferrell says, "Because I'm watching Cops."
Yeah, and they just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Like, that scene went on for a very long time.
Yeah. This is a house of learned doctors.
I can't remember where when that comes, but such a good line. One of the other great lines of that movie is I'm gonna paraphrase heavily, but John C. Reilly wants to take up the family business.
Yeah, I wrote that down
doctor.
Yeah, he was like, I'll join the family business. And his dad's just a doctor. This isn't a line, but I wrote it down. Will Ferrell only drinks blue Kool-Aid the whole movie, and at like the holidays, he drank it out of like a wine glass.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. He just drinks blue Kool-Aid the whole time.
He
just had a wine glass of it. Yeah. Also, the '80s Billy Joel cover band was great.
Yeah. How do you think of that?
Yeah,
yeah. That whole plot point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of what I wrote down. I also wrote down the adulting scene where they get mature. I felt like that was like an attack.
Yeah. A lot of comedies will be really funny for the first half, and then they'll pick up the plot part and it'll be boring and not very good. But even when they got to the plot part, which was very small, it was 15 fucking minutes, it was still really funny. Yeah. Like Will Ferrell coming out of Costco with a huge thing of toilet paper. It's just a really funny moment, you know?
And you fist pumps?
Yeah. Oh, there's just so much, it stayed funny throughout the entire movie.
I like when he thinks he's going to get fired, and then he's like, I'll go to Enterprise. They have an excellent corporate structure.
Absolutely. They just get so lame. It's hysterical.
Yeah. All right. We can move on to, where do you want to start? We have a bunch of little categories we're going to go over here.
It's up to you.
Let's do winners and losers. I think that was an interesting one. And we've done that for other movies. This one we're going to do a little differently. We're going to do winners and losers of the movie in general, the actor, director, writers, all that stuff, and not necessarily within the film, because they were all kind of winners in the film.
Mhm. Who's one of your winners?
I forgot his name. The dude who plays his brother Derek.
Oh, that was one of my winners too. Adam Scott.
That's what it is. Yeah, he was probably maybe more well known now for Parks and Rec. Yeah,
but this is where he got his comedy debut.
Yeah, this was his big start because he was in a couple serious things. He'd never really done improv, I don't think, or he had a very light improv background at all, if at all. And so they kind of threw him in a trial by fire sort of thing. And yeah,
he lives up to everything.
He was
Like
so
he
perfect for that role.
he plays such a douchebag, such a dick, you know? And, like, if you've seen Parks and Rec, it's the exact opposite. He's such a good actor. But, like, you really just want to punch him in the fucking face.
Hey, he like so quick. It was really well done how quickly they like turned him into the douchebag. Like I feel like it took like a minute of him on screen and they perfectly personified him and he portrayed that so well.
Yeah, wasn't his first scene the Bohemian Rhapsody scene?
Or Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah, oh, Sweet Child of Mine, yeah. That was,
I don't know if that was the very first one, but it basically was.
it's just, that scene is just such a good scene. And how he just, like, hates on his wife and just gives her a ton of shit for not being perfect. Oh, it's so douchey. Such a winner. So that was one of my winners. I think one of my losers was John Hamm, because he was actually in the running to playing that part, but didn't get it.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. That's a good loser pick, because I couldn't think of really any. Him and Adam Scott, and there's someone else who was famous, I think, who was up for that role, but
yeah, there was. I can't remember his name, but
they gave it to the newbie. I think I have it on this page here.
Another winner I have for this movie, it's kind of a cop-out, but like all of the role players in this movie were incredible. We talked about Adam Scott, of course.
The parents were perfect.
The parents, they were both funny, but they also like were perfect for the movie, you know? He like moved the plot enough around. Adam Scott's wife is fucking hysterical.
Oh yeah,
she maybe had the best monologue in the whole movie.
Which part? The part where she comes on to him for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had also apparently mostly improv.
Yes. I heard that I read that as well. Let me see. But yeah, you're right. All the role players in that movie were so good.
Mhm. A loser is a boats.
Yes, that's a good loser. They did kill the boat.
Did kill the boat. That's a huge loser.
My favorite thing about
Billy Joel's a loser.
Yeah. My favorite part about the music video they made where they crashed the yacht or the whatever sailboat, whatever you want to call it, sea vessel. My favorite part was that they left that in the music video.
Yeah, they could have easily edited it out.
Oh, that was so good. What is that line? I'm trying to think of the line where the mom tells the therapist like she's a keeper.
Yeah.
That was like one of the funniest movies, or the funniest line of the whole movie.
Yeah, that was such a good line. Just the therapist is just so, like, it shows how fucked up that family is, that the mom was like, oh, this isn't like harassment or terrible, like, this is normal, this is just cute. Oh, it's such a good line. All right, shall we move on to the next section?
Yes. So what was your favorite scene in the whole movie?
My favorite scene, what did I write down? I don't actually remember this scene until I watched it last night. It was like an after credit scene where they come and like, you know how like in the middle of the movie they got beat up by those kids?
Oh yeah.
And they just come back and they just show like a 5 to 10 minute scene of them beating the shit out of children. Which I can't believe they put that in a movie. Just like adult humans beating the shit out of children. It's wild. I think I laughed so hard just because I was stunned that they put that in the movie. Like, would that get in the movie today? I don't think it would.
Yeah, that might not. There are certain parts of it that didn't age as well,
Yeah,
but
like,
I was able to look past it.
yeah, well, you got to put it in. It came out in 2008, you know?
Yeah. It was just really like terminology that probably
They
was
used a
fine.
lot of slur words that would not go well today.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I found it. So the therapist said, "You're an enabler," and then she just leans in and says, "You're a keeper."
Yeah. Oh, she nailed that line.
My best scene. It's so hard to pick. I love the job interview. It's not like one scene, but that whole set like montage of them interviewing for jobs.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite things of the whole movie. Obviously the bunk bed scene's probably one of the most famous, as well as the Catalina wine mixer.
Yeah. One of the other best ones is when they're trying to scare off like potential buyers of the house.
Yes, that's
and
the
like
other one.
they walk out in like a Nazi uniform and they act like a dead, but like somebody just recently died in there.
Yeah, they have like someone in makeup as a corpse.
Yeah, that was a great scene. It's just we were talking about this earlier. It's just chock full of just funny standalone scenes that are just hysterical.
Oh, when they like take away TV from them,
Yeah.
and then he just yells, "Are you fucking high?"
Just the outrage.
Yeah. All right. So I think we should move. Or do you have a quotable line?
Oh boy, do I. There's
mentioned
Will Ferrell's just all of his movies are just the most quotable movies. Like Anchorman, this, Talladega Nights. Did We Just Become Best Friends is a classic.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound weird, but for a second, I think you took a shape of a unicorn. It's a great line.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's blood everywhere. It's quoted a lot. There's so much room for activities.
Hey, you don't say that. Hey, you don't say that. Oprah, Barbara Walters, and your wife. You gotta fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 20 minutes. Let's go.
Yes, that was the line I was on to mention when I was trying to think of like how they perfectly encapsulated him as the ultimate douchebag in like one scene.
It's Dane Cook.
Yeah, that's what it is. Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 20 minutes, let's go.
You know what gets my dick hard? Helping out my friends. He's just the worst.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a good character.
Alright. We can move on to fun facts, because there's so many of them about this movie.
There are so many.
I have one that I just read. So the Catalina wine mixer was actually not shot on Catalina. They scoped it out and they didn't like the location. And they actually shot it on the coast, like right off of Catalina Island, like on the coast part. And you can actually see Catalina Island in the background throughout the whole scene. And they chose to not edit it out because they thought it was funny.
That is hysterical. And I mean, like, that just sounds so much like them.
Yeah.
So the movie was my first fun fact is the movie like concept was they were filming Talladega Nights, and Adam McKay, the director, thought it would be funny just bunk beds, like adults in bunk beds, and like so the bunk bed scene was like the whole movie kind of revolves around that scene, which I think is really cool because it's one of the most iconic scenes from the movie.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. I knew it was after Talladega Nights, the three of them being Will Ferrell, Adam McKay, and John C. Reilly wanted to work together again, but they wanted to, like, be inside. Because it
Yeah.
was like hot as shit filming that Talladega Nights, I guess. That was like, and then I didn't know the bunk bed idea was like the genesis though that really got it going.
Yeah.
The movie was, they had pretty much free reign just because of the success they had with Talladega Nights and the movies that came before it, which allowed them to just, I mean, they improv every possible way they could, pretty much every scene. And the director admitted that he said there was easily a 4-hour cut of the movie that they could have done just because they had so much improv material.
I would pay so much money to watch all of that.
It was probably like amazing.
Yeah, apparently there's like a SeaWorld scene taken out of it. What was that?
What was that scene?
I can't remember the specifics, but it was like the dad was like really mad at like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, and then like they were like, let's just go to SeaWorld, and they go to SeaWorld, and there's like a 5-minute montage of them having a great time, and then the dad just cuts in and was like, wait, what the fuck are we doing here? Which would just fit the movie so well that that's just put in the middle of the movie.
I'm going through the oral history, which I highly recommend reading the oral history of
such a good article
on theringer.com. They had a little thing about it. So yeah, so like there was a SeaWorld montage, and actually it came back because in Anchorman 2 there's a SeaWorld scene, and that was kind of segued off that.
Mm-hmm. So the woman who plays Will Ferrell's mom also played Will Ferrell's stepmom in Elf, which is interesting. But she's only 14 years older than Will Ferrell in real life.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I never put that together until I started looking at Step Brothers stuff and looking into it for this. But in hindsight, that feels like that should have been more obvious.
Yeah, apparently, like Will Ferrell, like requested that actress for Step Brothers. I think, like he called her up and was like, "Do you want this part?" And she was like, "Absolutely." Because like also everybody loves working with Will Ferrell. I've read that a lot.
Yeah. Rob Riggle, who has a small role in it, he's one of the douche brother Derek's friends. He said he maintains in a lot of the kind of side of those smaller role supporting cast people say similar things where they consider it the greatest movie they've ever been a part of, or maybe the greatest movie of all time, just because of the experience on set was supposed to be just so incredible, watching Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly just improv, be improv gods, I guess, is how they describe the experience.
Like, you have one of the best comedian actors of all time. John C. Reilly's one of the, like, great dramatic actors, like, put in a comedic role. It's two geniuses working.
And I guess Adam McKay, a lot of them shout him out. He's more of a behind-the-scenes guy as the writer-director, but apparently he gave him, like, free reign, and that was, like, a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The prosthetic testicles Will Ferrell used to teabag the drum set were worth $20,000.
Apparently, he still brings them out at dinner parties. Like, he kept them, and he'll bring them out and show people.
That's amazing.
It's actually Will Ferrell singing and throughout the entire movie. Even like the Catalina wine mixer. I think it's like opera-like. And it's John C. Reilly playing the drums, which is incredible.
And it's probably him singing the Boats and Hoes in the background.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's tough to tell, too. Totally. It's just so fucking talented.
I've actually heard Will Ferrell can sing.
Yeah.
So I guess he can. Let's see. So the movie, when it first came out, it actually kind of flopped, like in the theaters and stuff. And critics hated it. They thought it was just like outrageous and ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I want to say it came out in like the summertime, and there just wasn't a lot of buzz. It wasn't super popular or anything for a good chunk of time. And it wasn't until the Super Bowl that year, and that was the year the Saints won, I believe, where Will Ferrell texted Adam McKay and he told him, like, look at what the Saints are doing in the locker room. And I guess he looked it up, and the Saints in the locker room after winning the Super Bowl, so we're just all shouting, it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. And that's how they kind of knew that it kind of made it.
Yeah, it's really one of those movies that kind of just grows over time. And like a lot of Will Ferrell movies, it gets funnier. The first time you watch it, it's funny, but it's better like the second and third and fourth time you watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I watched it and I enjoyed and appreciated new things in it that I didn't notice the first couple of times I've seen it.
Yeah. My last fun fact I have is there's still a potential Step Brothers sequel. I doubt it'll ever happen. But according to Will Ferrell, the plot would be, quote unquote, we had a whole story where John and I follow our parents to live in a retirement community and try to convince them that we earn the right to retire as well. I think that would be the greatest movie ever. It would be so fucking funny.
Yeah, that would be really good. This is not so much a fun fact about Step Brothers, but just a fun fact about life, is that John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell are teaming up again for a movie coming out this Christmas called Homies. Yeah, which is just Will Ferrell as Sherlock and John C. Reilly as Watson.
Oh, that's so good. Is Adam McKay directing it?
That's what I'm Googling it right now.
Oh, that's going to be such a good movie. I was surprised to see you watched oh fuck, god damn it, what's that movie called? Adam McKay directed it.
It doesn't look like it's being directed by McKay.
Oh, that's a little bit of a bummer. He's trying to get more serious.
Is he?
Yeah, he directed that what's that one movie with Christian Bale about the housing crisis?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's really, really good.
I just had it up. I just saw the title on one of these many tabs I have.
The Big Short.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Which is a great movie, and that made me like Adam McKay so much more.
Yeah, that's not something you'd expect him to have directed. But yeah.
He also was a writer on Ant-Man.
I didn't know that. Well, the director of the Homies movie also directed Idiocracy. So that's a plus.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it, especially now. It's it's great. It's like a dystopic future comedy where like the country is run by idiots.
Oh, that sounds really good.
And it came out in 2006, but it feels real now.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Some people have compared the presidents in the movie's speeches to our current president.
Oh, that's always fun and not depressing.
Yeah. God, what's the president's name? He has like the most ridiculous name too. Hold on. Idiocracy. President Camacho.
Camacho.
He's played by the dude in the Old Spice commercial.
Oh my god, I need to watch this.
Yeah, you have to watch this movie. It's so good.
That sounds so good. Oh man. All right. What other was that the last segment?
I think that's all we had. Yeah. Any last words on Step Brothers?
What a fucking movie. Is it Will Ferrell's best?
Probably not because of Anchorman.
Yeah, it might not be, but it might be. Honestly, watching it, I haven't seen Anchorman in like a year or so, but that might be the best movie he's made.
Anchorman felt a little different than the normal thing that Will Ferrell does.
Yeah.
I don't know what about. It's not really. It's the same type of humor and stuff. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that
it feels more epic.
Yeah.
But Step Brothers feels funnier.
It feels raw. It's like Will Ferrell at his purest.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's just him probably in his most comfortable improv environment where he just goes off. And
that's what makes that movie so perfect.
It's glorious. All right, so we will wrap that up. We have, before we get into our fuck this thing, we have a big episode next episode.
Oh, we do.
It is a big one. We have moderately planned and everything.
People probably will show up, all of them.
So it'll be our first, potentially, we'll knock on wood here, because it might not work. We have our first ever international guest. It's not really international, but he is international.
He's technically, yes.
he is not in the U.S. and won't be when we record. So yeah.
That will be a cliffhanger right there.
Yeah, you can guess what that will be.
That's a technique in the biz, you know.
Keep them hanging on the cliff till next.
Absolutely, they're gonna have to tune in. They need to know who. You know, we gotcha.
We're worldly
fucking
men.
Loser listeners.
We're worldly
Don't know
men. This could
we're
be
tricking
anyone.
you.
This could
be
anyone. We're citizens of the globe.
God damn right. We expand to across the world into every possible life. You know.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a pop? I know we didn't talk about it, but.
Marvelous Miss Maisel, watch it. I don't think you have yet. Just watch it.
I haven't, because I've been watching and rewatching, technically, Friday Night Lights, which, honestly, I know we always talk about Game of Thrones as the greatest show of all time, but...
Don't you dare.
But it's so good, though.
It's a great show. It's not Game of Thrones level, but it's a great show.
No, you're right. It doesn't have the...
And you're choosing to rewatch a show over watching a fucking 8-episode show that I've told you many times about, but that's fine.
I'm watching greatness on the screen. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose, Noah.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. You're goddamn right. I can't not respond with that.
All right.
I could be like my most angry, and if somebody yells "clear eyes, full heart," I'll have to yell "can't lose."
All right. What is your fuck this thing?
My fuck this thing is getting older. I played soccer the other day, and my hamstring was really tight, like halfway through, and I just it just hurt a lot, you know. And then I woke up and I landed on my wrist, and my wrist was super sore the next day, and I could not really move it a ton, and it's still sore a couple days later. And I just feel like my body's breaking down, you know. I'm 23, but I feel like I'm 32.
To be fair, you put some heavy work on your body throughout intramural sports in college.
I did. I committed.
Intramural sports was very taxing for you in a way it's not for most people.
Yeah, I treated it like my career in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
I wouldn't change a thing. I've never.
I was gonna say that you went for it and you emerged a champion.
You're fucking right. I did.
How many championships did you win?
I won 3. And two of them were ping pong.
2 of them were ping pong. All right.
But that futsal championship, no one can ever take that away from me.
Nope, it happened. I love that there was we took that team picture and you're the only one not looking at the camera.
Oh my God, I don't have that picture. If you have it, you have to send it.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's so good. All right. My fuck this thing. I just had it in front of me. Okay, so there's a baseball player that the Japanese two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He was one of the greatest players in the Japanese league ever. He's still really young. But he was a really good pitcher and he could also hit, and then he came to the major leagues and he was still a really good pitcher and could also hit. So it was really cool. But he hurt his arm and it came out, this was a couple weeks ago, that he was going to need Tommy John surgery, so he wouldn't be able to pitch for a year or so, which really sucked. But the game after that, it was announced that he was going to have that surgery. He hit 2 home runs because he can still hit, I guess. I guess that's how it works. I'm not sure. I'm no expert.
Never does.
I'm no expert doctor here, but I feel like that requires your arm still.
Yeah.
But I fuck this thing is the announcer for that game because he had the dumbest call ever after a second home run. He was he yelled, "Take that, haters," as in who's the hater in this situation? His
Isn't
elbow? Everyone
kind of pulling for him?
Yeah, everyone's pulling. I feel like the only hater in that he's referring to is his elbow tendon. It was just dumb.
How fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. So fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right. Anything else before we sign off and leave everyone on a teaser before our big next episode?
No. Have a good week, everyone.
No, you fuck.
What? You said God damn it. Stay drunk?
Yes, stay drunk, everyone.